Hey, brothers and sisters. Well, I think I'm might be a little reckless tonight. I'm typically going from the Bible unless I'm doing a news story, and maybe I had a little bit too much time on my hands to think about the rapture today or something. I don't know, but something kind of struck me, and I'm gonna throw it out there, just more because I'm musing about it, and I'm uh, just I don't know. I'm not taking this all too serious. I'm just kind of putting it out there for the heck of it. Um, if you're going to Revelation 1 here, and I'm in Bible Gateway, the King James Version, down in verse 10, and this is, very well-known verse here. So it's John, Apostle John, getting the revelation of Jesus in the book of Revelation. It says, I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet. Now, there's been a lot made of this statement. Dr. Missler actually says this saying the Lord's Day very well could be somehow the day of the Lord. And then you've got a whole bunch of people that I think, oh boy, Dr. MacArthur and oh, I know I've read maybe half dozen of them that say no, it just pointing to Sunday, that it was established by 95 AD, that the Lord's Day was known as Sunday. And so they say don't try and make too much of that. But then you can hear, his voice is that of a trumpet. And of course, we know that the rapture verses that, you know, Jesus descends with a shout, with the voice of an archangel and a trumpet of God. That's the First Thessalonians 4:16 through 18 passage, I think. And so, boy, there's a lot of indications here that this is modeling uh, the day of the Lord or potentially the rapture. Now, let's just take, for instance, that this is just, some Sunday there in 95 AD, which it probably was, and John is on Patmos, and he hears the voice of the trumpet on the Lord's day. Now we know from 95 AD, whatever Sunday this was, and then if you move forward here um, to Revelation 4, we get the first verse here after this. I looked and behold, a door was open in heaven, and a voice which I heard was uh, as it were a trumpet talking with me. There it goes again, which said, come up hither, and I'll show you the things which must come hereafter. Now, a lot of people make a lot of this uh, saying that's the day of the rapture, because again, you have the doors open in heaven in the voice of a trumpet. And so again, we're modeling the rapture, and apparently John was raptured. Now, you can't, obviously make doctrine out of this, but if it was a Sunday in 95 AD and he hears the voice of a trumpet and he was caught into the spirit, and then by the time you get to Revelation 4, where what John has been doing is he was told to write these things which have taken place, which are and which will come. That's Revelation 1:19. Let's go take a look at that anyways, since we're sitting here. Um, Write these things which thou hast seen, things which are, and the things which shall be hereafter. And all what he's writing down is, what who Jesus was. He was walking among the candlesticks, and he had the stars in his hand, which was picturing the churches. And then in Revelation 2 and 3, you get the letters to the churches. Okay, Ephesus, uh, Smyrna, the rest. And then he's just writing these things down. So presumably, you know, he's he's still on Sunday when he was caught in the spirit writing these things down. But all of a sudden now we go boom in Revelation 4 and it's come up here. And right away, what does he see? The 24 seats and the elders were sitting. Now, you know, many scholars have done a better job than me, but we've gone into this before where the elders are almost certainly picturing the church. And the elders, um, this process of assigning the elders was done in First Chronicles 24, I want to say. My brain's hurting me right now, but it was King David setting up the rotation of the priests to serve in the temple. And sure enough, you get the same process here of the elders in the throne room of heaven. And so something happened between a Sunday in 95 AD and John writing down what he's being told. And here in Revelation 4, verse 1, he's yanked clearly forward in time because we see the elders sitting on the throne. Jesus is about to open the seals, right? And starting in Revelation 6, really, but it's announced in Revelation 5 when he's handed the scroll. And so we know he's yanked forward in time. Um, and so I guess the little point I would make out of this is if this verse in 10, John hearing on the Lord's day the voice of a trumpet, and then we hear the voice of the trumpet again here in Revelation 4, does it mean it was still on Sunday and then he was yanked forward, raptured, if you want to say, in the spirit into the throne room? Somehow he went from 95 AD to clearly, let's hope was just a little while ahead of us here to be in heaven, where we picture the elders that represent the church. So that's just kind of like musing. So I thought, well, what else can we make of this? And my head went back to the first Pentecost in Acts 2 here. When the day of Pentecost was fully come, there were all, one accord, one place, and then we hear the Holy Spirit enter in and tongues of fire and everybody. And I thought, I wonder what day that was. Now there's a little bit of debate. I would say most people talk about Jesus' crucifixion as being on Passover in either 32 AD or 33 AD. And there's a little bit of date technical calculation question there, as well as the ascension of the king Artaxerxes Longimanus in either 445 BC or 444 BC, because that started Daniel's 70 weeks that announced when the Messiah was going to enter this, the Jerusalem riding on the donkey. And so I really wish I had it nailed. I've oscillated between 32 AD and 33 AD a million times, but I decided just to go back in Torah calendar and see what they said was 33 AD for Pentecost to match up with our when the day of Pentecost is fully come here, when the church age started, and it happened to be on a Sunday. And so I thought, well, that's kind of cool. So the church started on a Sunday, and you know, with a little bit of twisted logic, right? I'm just thinking out loud. This is how my brain works, which I guess you can have pity on me now, but it sure seems like um, John, when he wrote Revelation on the island of Patmos, was given the vision on a Sunday, and it sure seems like this rapture modeling perhaps happened on a Sunday as well. So I'm not trying to be goofy about any of this, but it happens to be Saturday night, and so I thought, well, this is just kind of weird, so I'm just gonna make this video throw it out there. I'm not trying to pick a day. You guys watch my videos, I've looked at the feast days. I've looked at Pentecost. I've looked at Rosh Hashanah. I've looked at, the harvest cycles with the barley and the wheat harvest and the first fruits of the wheat harvest. And we've done all those videos, and my conclusion is always it's plausible on a feast day. But my conclusion is that there's a very strong argument that the doctrine of imminence is correct. And as you go through, most people don't say what it is. I've done videos on what the doctrine of imminence is, and there's scads of passages that sure lead you to believe it's imminent. And so I'll leave you with that. Just pop that into Google if you don't really know what the doctrine of imminence is, and look for passage references because certainly you'll find them, and you'll see dozens of them. You guys know I like Dr. Thomas Ice. He does a lot of this. I think he had a whole article on that where he listed maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 passage references that sure made it sound like in the New Testament that the Lord is coming for the rapture was, you know, and expected at any time kind of a thing. And you look at Paul's behavior. Apostle Paul sure led you to believe that he thought it could have happened at any time back in his day. And so that's where you get the doctrine of imminence is there was an expectation. But I'm just, is the Holy Spirit showing me something, or am I just being goofy? But it sure it sure looks like the modeling we have for the rapture here in Revelation 1 and potentially Revelation 4 might put it on a Sunday. And the church age, if the 33 AD is correct, and if Torah calendar counted everything correctly, Passover was on a Sunday. So or Pentecost, sorry. Pentecost was on a Sunday, so the church started on a Sunday, and maybe the rapture's on a Sunday. So thinking out loud. Hope you guys are blessed. You know what? With all this stuff, I just gotta say this. With all this stuff happening there in Turkey or in Ukraine, um, now they're talking about it's a civil war in East Ukraine, and Putin said that this can't stand. He made some bold proclamation today. Um, Boy, it sure seems like the wheels are in motion. Now, it's looked like that a million times, but I did the video on the prophecy of the three rabbis, and they pointed to mainly this period of time as being likely for what they saw as the coming of the Messiah. And now my argument was um, in John 5 that the Jewish folks, the non-Messianic Jews, actually first accept the Antichrist, and then at the abomination of desolation, those that are Jesus believers head for the hills and probably to Petra to be protected for the remaining 3.5 years. I bring that up because um, it sure seems like the time should be now, both biblically and from all the signs and from those rabbinic prophecies, which for the Jewish people carry quite a bit of weight. And so I'm pointing to that, just thinking, what, church, we're really close. And um, if you're unsure whether you're saved, um, I've said this in the last several videos, the basic gospel message is, we're sinners. Jesus said, no, not one of us is good. And God's going to judge your thoughts as well as your actions. You'd just be plain lying to yourself if your thoughts haven't betrayed you. Even today, your thoughts are probably of anger, lust, whatever. Not one sinner is going to heaven, okay? That's, matter of fact, flesh can't inherit heaven, and so no sinner is going to heaven. That's why Jesus, God's gave us Jesus. He paid the price. He died on the cross. He did what we couldn't do. And the only way we're getting to heaven is to admit you're a sinner and put your full faith and trust in what Christ did on the cross for you. Surrender. Let Him be God. Don't try and be your own God anymore. And you know what? Some fine, some fine Sunday or any other day, um, you find yourself standing before the throne in heaven. So, Saints, I wish you the best. Have a blessed weekend here. And you know what? Lord willing, we'll see you in the next video.